Imagine a man, a philosopher, writing in the 1880s, staring into the abyss of the future, and seeing us. Friedrich Nietzsche didn't just predict the 20th and 21st centuries. He prophesied them with terrifying accuracy. Like some kind of intellectual oracle, he gazed through the fog of time and saw exactly what we would become. Our politics, our culture, our souls. What he saw horrified him. And it should horrify you too. Today, we're diving into 5 predictions Nietzsche made over 140 years ago. Predictions that read like yesterday's headlines. Predictions that expose the dark underbelly of everything we call progress. By the end of this video, you'll never look at modern society the same way again. You've been warned. Prediction 1: God is dead. And we have killed him. These might be the most misunderstood words in philosophy. But Nietzsche wasn't celebrating. He was issuing a warning. A prophecy of catastrophe. Look around you. What do you see? Empty churches. Declining religious belief. The sacred replaced by the secular. But here's what Nietzsche saw coming that nobody else did. When you kill God, you don't get rational enlightenment. You get chaos. Modern society is drowning in spiritual emptiness. We've replaced eternal meaning with temporary pleasures. Instagram likes instead of divine love, career success instead of sacred purpose, consumer goods instead of communion with the infinite. The result? Exactly what Nietzsche predicted. Mass depression. Anxiety epidemics. A generation that has everything material and nothing spiritual. We've gained the whole world and lost our souls. But it gets worse. Without God, Nietzsche saw that we desperately search for new gods. New meaning. New sources of absolute truth. And what did we choose? Ideology. Politics. Science. Technology. Social media influencers. We didn't become rational. We became fanatical, about everything except the sacred. Nietzsche called it nihilism. The belief that nothing matters. That there's no ultimate meaning. No transcendent purpose. And he watched this poison spread through European culture like a plague. Today, that plague has gone global. We live in Nietzsche's godless world. And we're paying exactly the price he said we would. Prediction 2: Democracy. The sacred cow of modern civilization. The thing we're told represents the pinnacle of human progress. Nietzsche saw through it. Completely. He predicted that democracy wouldn't create independent thinkers. It would create sheep. A herd mentality where the majority crushes individual excellence. Where mediocrity becomes virtue. Where being different becomes dangerous. Sound familiar? Look at social media. The perfect democratic platform. Everyone gets a vote. Every opinion matters equally. The result? Cancel culture. Mob justice. The tyranny of trending topics. The herd decides what's acceptable. And anyone who steps out of line gets devoured. Nietzsche saw this coming. He called it the herd instinct. The human tendency to conform. To follow the crowd. To sacrifice individual greatness for collective comfort. Modern democracy doesn't elevate the best among us. It reduces everyone to the lowest common denominator. Politicians don't lead, they follow polls. Artists don't create, they pander to focus groups. Thinkers don't think, they repeat approved talking points. We've created exactly what Nietzsche feared, a society where being exceptional is suspicious. Where standing out is dangerous. Where the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. The herd rules. And the herd is stupid. But Nietzsche's critique went deeper. He didn't just see democracy creating conformity. He saw it creating resentment. The weak many resenting the strong few. Mediocrity punishing excellence. The herd turning on anyone who dares to be superior. Today's culture wars. The endless cycles of outrage. The systematic destruction of heroes and role models. Nietzsche called it. Over a century ago. Democracy promised to free us, instead, it enslaved us to the mob. Prediction 3: In 1882, Nietzsche wrote about the coming age of mass communication. He predicted that future technologies would be used not to enlighten humanity, but to control it. He was right. Terrifyingly right. Turn on the news. Any channel. What do you see? Not information. Manipulation. Not facts. Narrative control. Not education. Indoctrination. Nietzsche foresaw that mass media would become a tool of power. A way to shape public opinion. To manufacture consent. To create artificial realities that serve the interests of the elite. But here's the truly chilling part: he predicted that people would love their own manipulation. That they'd become addicted to being controlled. That they'd choose comfortable lies over uncomfortable truths. Social media algorithms feed you exactly what you want to hear. News networks tell you exactly what you want to believe. Entertainment companies sell you exactly the fantasies you crave. We're not informed. We're programmed. Nietzsche saw that mass communication would create what he called the last man. A creature content with shallow pleasures. Addicted to comfort. Allergic to challenge. Someone who mistakes information for wisdom. Stimulation for satisfaction. Connectivity for connection. Look around. Are we not surrounded by last men? People who know everything and understand nothing. Who are connected to everyone and intimate with no one. Who consume infinite content and create nothing of value. The media doesn't just report reality. It constructs reality. And we've become willing prisoners in the reality it constructs for us. Nietzsche predicted we'd trade our freedom for the illusion of being informed. The illusion of being connected. The illusion of being alive. We made that trade. And we're living with the consequences. Prediction 4. Here's where Nietzsche's prophecy becomes truly dark. He didn't just predict the death of God. He predicted what would come after. A creeping meaninglessness that would infect every aspect of human existence. Nihilism. The belief that nothing matters. That life has no purpose. That existence is fundamentally absurd. Look at modern culture. Really look at it. Our entertainment is obsessed with anti-heroes. Cynicism is considered sophisticated. Hope is mocked as naive. Purpose is dismissed as delusion. Everything is ironic. Nothing is sacred. We live in the nihilistic wasteland Nietzsche foresaw. Where success is measured only in material terms. Where relationships are disposable. Where traditions are abandoned. Where the future holds no promise. But the real horror isn't philosophical. It's practical. Nihilism doesn't just destroy meaning. It destroys motivation. Why work hard if nothing matters? Why build lasting relationships if everything is temporary? Why sacrifice for future generations if the future is meaningless? The result? Exactly what we see today. Declining birth rates. Crumbling institutions. Social atomization. A generation that's given up on the future because they don't believe in anything worth fighting for. Nietzsche called this passive nihilism. Not the active destruction of values, but their slow, quiet death. The gradual erosion of everything that makes life worth living. We're not just living in a nihilistic age. We're living in the specific kind of nihilistic age Nietzsche predicted. Where people are too comfortable to rebel and too empty to hope. The abyss isn't just staring back at us. We've moved in with it. Made it our home. And forgotten there was ever anything else. Prediction 5. This is Nietzsche's most terrifying prediction. The one that should keep you awake at night. He saw humanity's future. And it wasn't extinction. It wasn't apocalypse. It was something far worse. Evolution. Into creatures he called the last man. What is the last man? Someone who has given up on greatness. Who seeks only comfort. Only safety. Only pleasure. Someone who has no higher aspirations. No transcendent goals. No willingness to suffer for something greater than themselves. Sound like anyone you know? The last man doesn't want to climb mountains, he wants to binge Netflix. He doesn't want to create art that challenges. He wants content that comforts. He doesn't want to build civilizations. He wants to manage his anxiety. The last man has small pleasures. Small goals. Small thoughts. He's content with mediocrity. Satisfied with survival. Happy with happiness. And that's the horror. He's happy. Blissfully, stupidly happy. Nietzsche saw that this would be humanity's final evolutionary stage. Not the Superman. Not the Übermensch. The last man. The final degradation of human potential. Look around. Are we not becoming exactly this, a species obsessed with safety over adventure? Comfort over growth. Validation over truth. We've replaced the will to power with the will to comfort. The drive to create with the drive to consume. The courage to suffer with the compulsion to medicate. We're medicating our pain instead of learning from it. Avoiding risk instead of embracing challenge. Seeking pleasure instead of pursuing meaning. The last man doesn't die from catastrophe. He dies from satisfaction. From comfort. From the gradual erosion of everything that once made humans great. Nietzsche's prophecy isn't about nuclear war or climate change. It's about evolutionary stagnation. The voluntary surrender of human potential. We're not approaching the end of history. We're approaching the end of ambition. The end of striving. The end of becoming. We're becoming the last man. And we're choosing it willingly. So here we are. Living in the world Nietzsche saw coming. The godless world. The herd mentality world. The manipulated world. The nihilistic world. The world of the last man. He didn't just predict our technology. He predicted our souls. He didn't just foresee our politics. He foresaw our psychology. He saw through the illusion of progress to the reality of decline. But here's the question that should haunt you. The question Nietzsche would ask if he were alive today, if he could see all this coming over 140 years ago, if the patterns were already visible in his time, if the seeds of our destruction were already planted in the soil of modernity, then what does that say about us? Are we truly free? Or are we just playing out a script written long before we were born? Are we choosing our future? Or has our future already chosen us? And if Nietzsche could predict this much about our present, what couldn't he see about our future? The abyss is still staring. And it's still staring at you. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Because Nietzsche didn't just predict our problems. He pointed toward solutions. Not easy ones. Not comfortable ones. But real ones. The choice is still ours. For now. But time is running out. And the last man is getting comfortable. What will you choose?